Hi, thanks for joining me on this episode of Dyslexia Solutions. We're going to move into another lesson, and I know that the demonstrations are really helping you. We're getting a lot of views to the videos. We're going to start right off with the phonogram cards. Now, remember, we have the active pile, we have the retired pile, and we have to-do pile. So last time we met, this ED is past tense, and it has three sounds. Ed, d, and t. Ost, old, ol, ild, eind, and ing. If your child has trouble remembering these sounds, you can pull out your picture that we brought out last week. So then we ing, ang, ong, ung, ink, onk, unk, ink. U consonant E says U. A consonant E says A. O consonant E says O. I consonant E says I. E consonant E says E. And ch at the beginning of a word, at the end of a word, and in the middle of a word we're going to see today says ch. When the child sees a word and or hears a word, and you ask what the ending sound of lunch is, this child said, huh, knowing that it ended in H, but ch. So we took this out of the retired pile, brought it back into the active pile. Also, I want to share that I started with my phonogram cards using cards like this. So you can pick your cards up, pick some little paper up and save the cards, create your own cards if you aren't ready to purchase them, but they're available on my website, dyslexia or dys-sol.com. So that is step one. Step two, sound circles. Do you have your sound circles? I'm going to share my screen here. And I'm going to put a textured, whether it's thick kind of foam or whether it's glitter. You could get glitter pages and just cut them up in different colors. Very fun. So I put my circles down, and consonants are red, represented by red or pink, and the vowels are represented by the orange. And I'm going to use the spelling test errors. So with the sound circles, I'm going to do the first three words to show you how we do this. So here's the student's spelling test from last session. Slug was incorrect, so we're going to tap it out first and say the sounds. S-l-u-g, slug. Be sure the child isolates every single sound. S, s, s. You see how I just said s? Don't do this. Don't do that. Sorry. S-l-u-g, slug. If you catch yourself making a mistake, just correct it. S-l-u-g, slug. Next word, say fond. F-a-n-d. F-a-n-d. Fond. F-a-n-d. Fond. Next word is yelp. Y-e-l-p. Here we go. Y-e-l-p. Y-e-l-p. Yelp. Now, I was distracted a little bit because I was thinking about how I explained to the student what fond meant and what yelp meant. This program teaches so much vocabulary, and it's amazing because kids need to know vocabulary. They need to expand their vocabulary. So I shared that fond means you really like somebody, and we've talked about it before. But if the kids aren't remembering what the meanings are, let them know again. Because if they're not understanding the word, they're not going to sound it out and spell it correctly. And then Yelp, I mentioned that if a dog or an animal steps on a thorn or hurts their leg and they cry, yelp, 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 it's the cry of an animal, could be a yelp. Also, we have internet review on a channel called Yelp. If you want to give me a review on Yelp, these are good lessons for you. Yelp lets you evaluate a business, a restaurant, something you learn. You could do it on Yelp, a service you receive. So I taught him what that was, and we did talk about it before, but I just did it again. So I use a little zip bag for and this is good for their fingers too, to practice that. Let him scoop the circles in and zip, close it. Now we're going to use our plastic letters. And at this point, because I'm actually doing the spelling words, I'm using this fun little container that I got a couple Christmases ago that had nuts in it at Big Lots. So you might find some nice containers like this. Teachers don't like to throw things out because we can see a use for so many things, right? So I showed you 3 of the words. I'm going to show you 3 more words and use this. But now I want to take out my scoop. This is Science of Reading. Orton Gillingham wants you to scoop the words when you use the letters. And then when we do syllables, we're going to have 2 scoops. So that's provided in my kit, or you could just draw them, okay? So the first one we're going to do is film. Film. Say film. F-I-L-M. Okay, so now I'm not doing this. I'm watching the student do it. F-I-L-M. F-I-L-M, film. Notice when you do the letters, you say the name. When you do the circles, you do the sound. Film, good. Next word is span. S-P-A-N. And if the child's not remembering what the letter is, remind them, or what the word is. It's from your finger to your thumb to your finger. The span of your hand is that distance. So we're going to find the letters for span. S, P, A, N. A lot of my previous teachers have the letters sprayed black. My vowels, I sprayed them black. S-P-A-N, span. Didn't even flip that one. Okay, another word we're going to practice is gulp. A difficult one. When we say you can point up. That's Science of Reading. Gulp. G-U-L-P. Let me do it again. G-U-L-P. Gulp. We're going to get those letters. In my early program letters, I sprayed those gold or silver. Gulp. Here's my U. G, U, L, P. And we always want to point and say it. Have the child look at the letters, not look at you. G-U-L-P, gulp. That's going to make those synapses fire and make the brain connections. When they're looking at the letter, they're saying the letter name, and they're pointing. You got the multisensory parts all working there. So that is our letters. That completed step 3. So I'm going to show you my planner here. I'm going to show you how easy it is to keep track of it. Today's date. We introduced more wild old words, and we did the circles. We did the letters. Now we're going to work on the workbook page 16, and this is step 4, and this is where we use music. So I just let the child play music in the left ear with my app, the CDSM app. So anyway, I'm going to get the book, phonics reading, right here. Oh God, where is my reading book? I have my office just pretty much spread out behind me. So this is some real good sound discrimination. Have the child listen to the classical music in the left ear as they listen to, if they start reading. When I first had a child doing this, it was amazing. So you can cover these with a blank page if that helps make it not so overwhelming. And the child is going to sound these out. Ch, chest, chug, chop, chin, chill, chat, chess, chit, champ, chuck, chaff, chant. Then we have CH in the middle of a word. Ratchet, hatchet, kitchen. Back to this, chick, check, chum. Filch, gulch, belch, squelch, mulch. So I want to point out that in my reading in this phonics book, we're going into different sounds that aren't on the phonogram cards yet, and they're not in the spelling words yet. But we're introducing 5-letter words and even introducing SQU, squelch, mulch. You have to know that kids have learning gaps. When they're in 6th and 7th grade, they've seen this, but they don't understand it. They're not remembering it. So when they see this now, it's going to start giving them some aha moments. I do this for 10 minutes. And notice in my book, I have some spaces, just white space. If you're OCD, you might want to make this all perfect and clean it up. But I like the white space there because, and I like also repeating. So I have inch here. I repeat some of the words. I have inch here because it's okay. It's okay to repeat. And let the child see it in different places. Here they're seeing it chin and inch. You see how that's the reversal of the letters? Here they're seeing it kind of more of a rhyme kind of a setting, you know, in a group. I talk about hunch and hutch. So they see it in different categories of, anyway, so I really like that. What I wanted to show you is in the whiteboard. One of the whiteboard activities I do. So say the word hitch, and the child says hitch. In the word hitch, what's the last sound you hear? Ch. Okay, this child wanted to say huh. They hear ch. In the word hitch, what's the first sound you hear? Huh. In the word hitch, well, how many sounds does hitch have? Let's tap it out. Huh, ch. 3 sounds. Look at this, 5 letters, 3 sounds. You know what was the aha moment? What's the third sound you hear? Huh, ch, ch. It's the third sound, and it's the last sound. The T is silent. The T protects the short vowel sound in hitch. And the student knew that, and I was so proud of him. So that was an aha moment for him. 5 letters, 2 of them said one sound, 1 of them was silent, the word hitch. Now, if I want to take the huh away and put p, pitch. What's another word that is tricky for kids? Take the p away and put w, witch, Halloween witch, okay? So ditch. So those are the rhymes, and once the kids fill that learning gap in, that's going to be a nice aha moment. The other thing I point out in this reading, I want to say the word lunch. So while here we're scooping, we have the last sound is ch. Let's tap out the word lunch. Ch. Lunch. The 4th sound is ch. First sound is and we could change that out with the first letter to be p, punch. What if the first letter was munch? So N is heard. The third sound is the last sound is ch. So here I'm pointing out there's a silent letter, but we hear So you can take out your whiteboard more than just 2 times in your meeting, because when we do the reading, especially when we introduce, like, Dutch and Hitch, it's a teachable moment. And that's where the flexibility comes in. Snitch, crunch. Okay, like look at crunch would be ch. So ch has 1 sound, but cr has 2 sounds. Ch. So in the reading, they're doing different things than they're doing with the spelling test. So the sound circles and the phonogram cards are all practicing for the spelling test. That's why the app is difficult if your child hasn't had the preparation to spell the words. So I wanted to show that. And then I want to show the workbook. So we're back to workbook, let me see, 4A. Let me see here. Well, you know what? Last week we did it was 15B. The child finished the ending sounds of the words that had the same beginning, like TH or HU. So let me see what I did. So I did page 17 in workbook 5A. So what you have to remember also is, for kids 5th grade and above, the book is 5A. For kids 4th grade and younger, it's called 4A, because there's no 4B. There's only a 5B. So what we did last week was filled in the ED, or we gave it a D or an N. Let me see. Here we go. D, ED, or T. And then I had the child put the sound of the ED on top. So he felt pretty successful with this, but I wanted to have him do it on his own. So today I, started off, he got kind of confused starting off, and I'm like, okay, the rat, let's underline what word is in front of the line. Now, is that a verb? Yes. Okay, so verbs in the past, if it's a regular verb, that's what we're working on right now, it will end with ed, jumped. The rat jumped, but it sounds like tunnel. Okay, so let's go to the next one. After dinner, I asked. So the verb, it's a verb. It takes an ed. My sister, so he could put asked, he put the T again. My sister to hand me my best dress. Now, he has learned the infinitive, to hand. So he already knows it doesn't take ed. He knows it's just D. I'll do 2 more. Mom had mended, so he knows this is past tense. ED. Mended it, so I could have it for the party. The flag flapped in the stiff. You're going to underline in front of the line. Is it a verb? No, this is a noun. So this noun gets just D. So what I did was I made an extra copy of this page. Let the child fill this out on his own with your help. Everything's explicit instruction. Don't leave them on their own, because they need your help. They don't need a peer to help them. They need you, the teacher, to explicitly teach them and remind them. So the other thing I wanted to say was, I give you the digital files when you order my program, so you can print out this page. And also, if you have your book, I have a copier on hand. Sometimes if the technology doesn't work, if you try to print a page out and your computer's not syncing to the printer, you're kind of stuck if you don't plan ahead. So take out your book and make a copy. Just use your copier. For one page, you have my permission and my blessing to do that. Okay, otherwise buy the book. Buy a couple copies of the book. So here we have that. I wanted to address that. So that was step 6 in the planner. Go ahead, right to your planner and put that you did 16. This is where we do a whiteboard activity. And then I'm going to go on to page 17 in workbook 2. Or it's 5B, and I'll show you that. 5B, strategies. This workbook is grammar. So we had some fun exercises with, we already talked about words being used as verbs or nouns. And then also, is it the same, used the same way as 1 or 2? Or is it used differently? So I made a copy so I could write on this for you. Do you think she will land the contract? It's a verb, right? Do you think she can land the plane? It's another verb, but the verbs are used differently. That's why context matters. Teach your child about context. I certainly hope she can land it. So this is kind of interesting. She could land. You certainly hope she can land the contract and land the plane. I'm going to just put 1 and 2. This could go to either one. Look at the second question. Or these are alphabetized, R-S-T-U-V. We must band together. That means group together, partner together. Our band won the contest, so that's a noun. And then you must not bring a rubber band to the class. So this is a noun, but it's a different kind of a noun because this is not a musical band. So you're going to put 3. It's a different kind of band. But this is so fun for the kids because they know it's a noun and it has an adjective in front of it. Number 4, she felt good when spring came. Mental verb. We haven't even talked about mental verbs yet. So this is the first introduction to a mental verb. His prize felt hat no longer fits him. So felt describes the hat. You could pull out some felt. I had a Dr. Seuss hat that was felt. But this is an adjective. So we've talked about it before, that nouns that have describers, or those are called adjectives. It felt hot to have the heat on in the house. It felt hot to have the heat on in the house. Felt. He recognized it. Mental verb. Okay, you see how fun this is? Now, depending on if your child is getting it quickly or depending on if there's more explanation you have to make, just do half the page and do the other half the next session. And that's okay because we're looking for qualitative results, quality, not just so much quantity. You want to see that the child's really learning and engaging and getting it. So that is the end of the spelling exercise of the workbooks. And then we're going to jump into the spelling, the app. So anyway, so what I did was I printed out another page. Now the student is going to do 1 through 40 without the scaffolds that I gave here. Actually, I didn't give, so he's been working on this. This is going to be the 6th time working on this test. Last time we did it, I took the scaffolds away, but he still had 7 errors. Today, he did it. He had 1 error, and I made a copy of it. Let me see if I can grab this. Still on my copy machine. Great job. He only missed one. So I have my wow stickers. Make a copy of the final page that you want to send home. And he was just so excited. That's the emotionally sound part of this program. So the music app is CDSM, and music plays in the left ear, spelling exercises in the right ear. There are 28 spelling exercises. If you have a kid who's really taken off with this, or a high schooler or an adult even that wants to tackle the spelling sentence groups, you can try that. So that's it. Only one wrong, and it's the 6th try, but we did scaffolds to get here. So all those, the remediation is built into the program. You're going to love it. So stay tuned for next week, and you'll see what else we're learning with my step-by-step reading program. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share this with someone who needs some help. Talk to you soon. Bye now.